Hello and welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to Define Disaster. This is Battlefield 4, and today we're going to be taking a look at the Dragon Valley Battlefield 2 map reimagined into Battlefield 4. Dragon Valley has been a long coming for Battlefield 4. This was first teased a number of months ago in the CTE, and since has slowly been developed, and now finally for the holiday season has been released. This classical Battlefield 2 map that was reimagined for Battlefield 4 has in many ways been a fan favorite, especially of course the TDM version, which is basically Noshahr Canal. Now I decided to kind of play the map a little bit and give my feedback on how generally I find the map in most modes up to now. I've played it in Conquest Large, Conquest, Rush, and of course TDM to kind of get an impression for the main game modes that this map is going to offer, and I'm generally positively surprised. Now the map is the biggest map in Battlefield 4 to date. It is bigger than Goldman Railway or any of the other large maps in existence, and it is definitely noticeable when you get into the Conquest Large version. You've got a hell of a lot of vehicles, pretty much any air vehicle you can think of. There's a number of tanks, LAVs, jet skis to get around the rivers, so there's definitely a lot of vehicle play here on Conquest Large. So if you're somebody who's not a big fan of vehicle play, it's definitely not a map for you. I like to compare this to Goldman Railway in that if you're a big fan of Goldman Railway, Conquest Large, this map is going to be for you as well. If not, probably not your map, at least not in Conquest Large. Conquest, it's slightly smaller, there's still a number of vehicles, but it's not as many, and it's slightly more conservative, so there's a bit more infantry, but the map remains large and quite wide open, so in most places you're going to want to be using long distance weapons. This is definitely a great place to be sniping if you like to do that, with the exception of the objective points themselves, which are usually very close quarter. Of course, you have this big temple complex right in the center of the map. That is a great place for infantry combat and definitely very much enjoyable also with your standard AEK or F2000 assault rifle. Alright, so Conquest Large are to be expected. They were already in Battlefield 2. It's large scale, plenty of open spaces with a little bit of close quarter mixed in. Now the map in general, of course, is visually absolutely beautiful. It's one of the nicest maps there is, in my opinion, from a visual perspective. This gameplay you're seeing here, of course, is not even recorded at ultra. It's mixed between high and medium settings at 1440p because I like to drive my FPS relatively high because I have a decent monitor. But it's definitely an absolutely gorgeous map. It looks amazing, no matter which game mode you're playing, obviously, because generally you still get the benefit of this beautiful visual. But what about the other game modes other than Conquest and Conquest Large? Well, Rush, actually one of the best Rush maps I've played. It's relatively smooth. The transitions between the different objectives seem relatively good. They are a little bit of a distance away, but there usually is plenty of cover to move up on, and there's quite a nice infantry battle going on there. I really enjoy it. What I don't enjoy so much are the helicopters, which can be a nuisance, especially on the early objectives. They can be quite annoying, but that's of course just a personal preference. I like my Rush quite infantry focused. What I have found, and I'm not quite sure yet if this was just 1 or 2 rounds or if this is actually a map balance problem, is that the first objective is unusually hard to get for the attackers. At least in a number of rounds I played, I found that a couple of times my team, even though relatively evenly matched with the opposition, had absolutely no chance of even getting to the top of that temple because they have this height advantage. They can shoot you from the roofs. There's plenty of places where they can hide. I've found it really difficult to sometimes get the first set of MCOMs. Now, other rounds this was not a problem whatsoever, so you may be having different experiences, so I'm a bit concerned there. Only time will tell if this is actually the case and these first set of objectives are really that difficult to take. Otherwise, it's a great Rush map. There is plenty of long distance combat as well. There's plenty of places to snipe, as there is in pretty much every game mode on this map, but there's definitely also plenty of mid-range and close quarter, so it is very much a balanced Rush map, which is very enjoyable, and it's definitely going to be one of my go-to Rush maps to play in the next few weeks. So last but not least, of course, TDM Noshahr Canal. Basically, that's what they integrated. Now, I never actually played the original Noshahr Canal from Battlefield 3, so I can't compare it. I can only really compare it to the other Battlefield 4 TDM maps, and I guess you could say mixed feelings up to now. I love the close quarter, I love the aesthetics of the map, I love the layout as well. What I don't like so much is the plentiful head glitching positions which there are around. I've had plenty of people camping around with bipods, which is very much a nuisance. If you're on a weaker team, they can keep camping. As soon as you're on the stronger team, a bipod camper usually is quickly overrun and not really a problem. So the head glitching is a bit annoying. Otherwise, the map is well balanced. There's of course that extreme close quarter right in the center around the containers. There's a couple of other areas where there's very much 5 meters or less combat distances, and then there's a number of quite wide open lanes. So if you're somebody who loves to snipe or use DMRs and TDM for some reason, that map should have plenty of opportunity as well. It's also a very big TDM map, I've found. I've played it up to now only on 32 player, but I can imagine that this map probably is best played with 48 or 64 players, simply because it is such a big TDM map, so that should be very enjoyable. So having discussed all the main game modes now, I am thrilled about this new addition to the Battlefield franchise. I'm very much enjoying Dragon Valley up to now. The few concerns I have mentioned. I'm not going to be playing Conquest Large too much, simply because I'm not such a fan of the sniper and vehicle gameplay in too excessive amounts. I'm more of an infantry player myself, with the occasional bit of tanking going on. I'm also, if you wish to have a kind of one more critical point, Conquest Large suffers that most of the objectives, because they are 100% destructible, which is an amazing thing. I love destructibility, but already after 500 tickets in a map, most of the objectives seem to be completely destroyed because tanks have just moseyed on in, and the few bits of infantry cover, the few buildings that are there, have just been obliterated. So capturing them without a vehicle pretty much becomes impossible unless you have absolutely no enemy forces there. But I'm very much enjoying Dragon Valley. I assume so are you. If not, let me know down below in the comments. I will also soon be doing a map guide, or I should say rush guide, for the rush version of Dragon Valley, as I did for Operation Outbreak, because I am definitely going to be playing the hell out of that rush mode, because of course my favorite game mode in Battlefield 4 is rush. So if you enjoyed this video, give it a thumbs up. If you have any opinions and comments, the comment section is down below there for you. If you want to stick around for that upcoming map guide or different Battlefield 4 content, or simply enjoyed this video, feel free to subscribe to the channel. But otherwise, I will see you in the next Battlefield 4 video.